the second chorus of the second part. I have smelt them, the death bringers, senses are quickened by subtle forebodings I have heard. Fluting in the night time, fluting in owls, have seen at noon scaly wings slanting over, huge and ridiculous. I have tasted the savor of putrid flesh in the spoon. I have felt the heaving of earth at nightfall, restless, absurd. I have heard laughter and the noises of beasts that make strange noises. Jackal, jackass, jackdaw, the skirring noise of mouse and jerboa, the laughter of the loon, the lunatic bird I have seen, grey necks twisting, rat tails twining. In the thick light of dawn I've eaten smooth creatures still living, with the strong salt taste of living things under sea. I have tasted the living lobster, the crab, the oyster, the whelk, and the prawn, and they live in spawn in my bowels, and my bowels dissolve in the light of dawn. I have smelt death in the rose, death in the hollyhock, sweet pea, hyacinth, primrose, and cowslip. I have seen trunk and horn, tusk and hoof. In odd places I have lain on the floor of the sea and breathed with the breathing of the sea anemone, swallowed with ingurgitation of the sponge. I have lain in the soil and criticized the worm in the air, flirted with the passage of the kite. I have plunged with the kite and cowered with the wren. I have felt the horn of the beetle, the scale of the viper, the mobile, hard, and sensitive skin of the elephant, the evasive flank of the fish. I have smelt corruption in the dish, incense in the latrine, the sewer in the incense, the smell of sweet soap in the wood path, the hellish sweet scent in the wood path. While the ground heaved, I have seen rings of light coiling downwards, descending to the horror of the ape. Have I not known what is coming to be? It was here, in the kitchen, in the passage, in the mews, in the barn, in the byre, in the marketplace, in our veins, our bowels, with our skulls as well as in the plottings of potentates, as well as in the consultations of powers. What is woven on the loom of fate, what is woven in the councils of princes, is woven also in our veins, our brains, is woven like a pattern of living worms in the guts of the women of Canterbury. I have smelt them, the death bringers. Now is too late for action, too soon for contrition. Nothing is possible but the shamed swoon of those consenting to the last humiliation. I have consented, Lord Archbishop, have consented, am torn away, subdued, violated, united to the spiritual flesh of nature, mastered by the animal powers of spirit, dominated by the lust of self-demolition, by the final uttermost death of spirit, by the final ecstasy of waste and shame. O Lord Archbishop, O Thomas Archbishop, forgive us, pray for us that we may pray for you. And Thomas enters. And aren't we reminded of what happened with Karbala in particular? Ali and his sons had been killed. Well, Hussein was killed at Karbala. But what happened at that point, people are like, we should have supported you. Other people, it seems like, we took part in it. and we regret it. So initially, and there weren't even Shias at this point, of what people would call Shias, a separate sect, but the people who were sorry. And it's better to be, okay, I wish I could do something beforehand, rather than but perhaps there's more that the people can do than they realize. We're all looking, it's like, oh, we can't do anything, the government's corrupt. It's like, well, stop making it about political parties and choose the better leaders. Choose someone out of the woodwork. In my country, up to 48% of the vote could be all entirely something new. That could beat both parties. Both political parties could be overthrown by a third party arising. If the Americans that can vote get out and vote and say no Republicans, no Democrats, no Green Party, and all these other lesser corporate ruled parties, that a party rises for the people and comes in peacefully. Because certainly rioting in the street is actually making some of the police situation worse than ever before. Well, not per se before what's happened in the 60s between the Black Panthers and back when the Klan and the police department kind of merged. But, not in my lifetime anyways. But it could be worse than ever before, really. So let's find actions that involve paradigm shifts, or at least the silent majority doing what they could and should.